So, let's talk about the Plague Sower set. This set was an utter joke pre-Worldslayer. Alright, this set bonus only provided a damage mitigation, despite having Blighted Rounds mods on it, and the attributes weren't very good either, with close range making up a lot of the attributes on the gear rather than long range. If you ran this set pre-Worldslayer, I would laugh in your face. But in Worldslayer, it now has a shiny new set bonus. This bonus, as seen here, gives you 10% more firepower every time Toxic is applied, stacking up to a hefty 50%. This gives you some pretty good damage when your build has enough mods, and the damage mitigation part of the set bonus is like having a defensive mod on, negating the need for a defensive unless you're playing unsafe and dying off cooldown, in which case it is your fault. In my opinion, this change in the set bonus makes the set worth using, even though it has close range attributes. The damage with Plague Sower in its current state is probably not comparable to Borealis yet, as its close range attributes hold it back from being a meta set, but it is still very viable as a firepower set. PCF has stated they're considering changing the close range attributes on the Plague Sower's pieces to long range damage. If PCF implements the long range attribute buff, then this could bring Plague Sower almost up to Borealis' level in terms of damage. If any of you are veteran players, you might remember back when Borealis was broken. Everyone ran the All Epics Blighted build, and using Plague Sower, you're simply just expanding on that. But now with the addition of that firepower bonus on Toxic application. So if you've already played the All Epics build, you'll have a pretty good baseline on what playstyle Plague Sower requires. I've also made myself a little gimmick build I call the Tricknomancer using Plague Sowers. If you'd like to skip directly to see that build, go ahead to the timestamp you see on the screen. I do absolutely recommend watching the rest of my build analysis, as I'll be going over what mods you can run with Plague Sowers universally, but if you just want to see that build, there's the stamp. Gear pieces of the set that you need to wear, in my opinion, are the gloves and the helmet. The helmet comes with Splash Boost, an invaluable AoE mod now that Bone Shrapnel is no longer as valuable as before. The gloves come with Euthanizer and Trick Up the Sleeve, which means they don't necessarily have to be modded at all. Tier 3 Apocalypse mods that frequently roll on helmets are Alchemical Mastery and Euthanizer, and you'll want a Plague Sower skull with one of these two mods as an Apocalypse. For gloves, the best Plague Sower Apoc drop I've had so far is Dum Dum Bullets, but I've also had Bullet Kindling drop on gloves. Bullet Kindling might seem a little random, but I'll explain why you might want to use it if you have nothing else better to use. Then you have a choice. You can either run the coat or you can run the pants. The coat is definitely the better choice as it has To the Bone on it as a native mod, but if all else fails, the pants are fine as well, since Spare Mag will help out on boss fights and is a nice safety net in regular play. Icicle Storm and Captain Hunter also roll as Apocs on the coat, while the pants may roll with Shatter, Virulent Compound, or Vein Ripper. Mods I recommend to mod on at Zahidi's if they haven't dropped as Apocs or you aren't running their native pieces are Alchemical Mastery, To the Bone, Icicle Storm, The Cycle, Captain Hunter, Dum Dum Bullets, Sharp Eye, Shatter, Virulent Compound, and Radical Therapy. These are ranked from what I feel are most important to have on to least important, if there isn't enough space on your gear to mod all of them. You might notice that all of these mods are firepower based. This is because the set bonus is primarily geared towards firepower. If you aren't running a firepower build with Plague Sowers, then you're just trolling, so. Your must-have mods are these first three mods. Alchemical Mastery and To the Bone you should never run without, as they will provide a lot of damage as long as you don't lose rounds. The Cycle synergizes well with a Pax node in the Pax tree we'll be running, and gives you a free 20% weapon damage. The rest of the mods listed are simply multipliers or give you a good chunk of damage. Sharp Eye especially is a mod worth considering as it was buffed, and if you are tired of looking for a pair of Apoc purple boots with the right attributes in the cycle, as it rolls as an Apoc on boots and also natively, you can run Borealis boots with a nice Apoc roll on them. Shatter may seem like it won't be doing much for you, but it will help with Icicle Storm's AoE and your damage against bosses frozen with Cold Snap. Radical Therapy only provides an 8% buff, so I do not recommend using it unless you don't have a better mod. Other mods to consider running in their place while searching for a drop are Anomaly Echo, Freezing Boost, Bullet Kindling, Dead Clock, Stare into the Barrel, and Personal Space. The last two mods synergize with close range attributes on the gear, but it's unclear whether PCF will change these attributes to long range, so always be ready to swap these out. Mods that will need to be run together are Vein Ripper and Tainted Blood, and if you have space, Bloody Boost. Without Vein Ripper or another reliable source of bleed such as Omen or Bone Shrapnel, you will find yourself struggling to extract value out of Tainted Blood and Bloody Boost. For weapons, what you'll want will be extremely similar to the Borealis build, and basically what you would want for an all epics build. A god roll would be an epic tactical assault rifle with the attributes bonus firepower, status power, and long range damage, with either tier 2 damage link or anomaly enhancement as its fixed tier 2 mod, and either dark sacrifice or killing spree as the APOC mod. Either of these mods will work, but Dark Sacrifice has better coverage, providing a damage bonus in any situation while Killing Spree requires kills, so Dark Sacrifice is recommended over Killing Spree. Tier 2 damage link will provide AoE, but gets no value in boss-only rooms, so Anomaly Enhancement would work best as a single-target boss gun. In the case of the boss gun, you want to mod on Fortress, as it will provide a nice 20% extra damage alongside Dark Sacrifice. But we all know winning the lottery would be easier than getting both of those god rolls, so we'll be looking at the next best option, an Inferno Seed with Dark Sacrifice or Killing Spree as its APOC. Again, the same applies when deciding which mod to set along as the APOC, but when it comes to modding over the Seed's native mods, you have a choice to make. As a boss gun, if you want to play it safe, you can mod over Wrath of Moloch with Fortress, but if you like living on the edge, you can mod over Brain Eater and run Bullet Kindling with it. This gives you a steady source of burn and a little extra damage. As a casual play gun, I absolutely recommend modding over Brain Eater with Ultimate Damage Link and going Bullet Kindling. Regular enemies have little health compared to the Outriders bosses, and most of the time Brain Eater will just be a wasted slot. Wrath of Moloch also gives you some extra AoE, and you will want AoE over single target damage when clearing rooms. I'll go over the class tree, Pax tree, and Ascension for a Plague Sower build only briefly, since they'll be pretty much the same for any other firepower build. You want to go the standard top tree for your regular class tree. It's still the best class tree for firepower builds. For the Pax tree, you'll want the top tree's top branch, which gives you a little extra damage and may also contribute to the status multipliers you're running, such as bleed or burn. For your Ascension points, you'll want to prioritize anomaly damage. Along with To the Bone, this will make your rounds hit harder, as they're classified as anomaly damage. A note of warning though, don't get this confused with anomaly power, because these two are completely different mechanics. The next Ascension points you want to focus on are elite damage, weapon damage, long range damage, close range damage, and critical damage. If you have extra points afterwards, you can put them into resistance piercing and magazine size. If you've made it this far, congratulations! This is all you'll need to know for deciding whether to make your own Plague Sowers build. Next up, I'll be talking about my gimmick build, the Tricknomancer. Ever since I laid eyes on Telefrag, I knew I had to try it out. It's an S-tier mod up there with Body Snatcher, perfect for infuriating yourself, possibly your teammates, giving yourself whiplash from teleporting everywhere uncontrollably, and most importantly, maiming. Then I dropped this beautiful gun. You just know I had to make a Telefrag build now. So first I thought about Borealis. Borealis is pretty cool. You have the freeze damage and everything, but the only problem is that it's long range. Of course, this can be negated by the very powerful set bonus. But then I saw the Plague Sower gloves in my inventory and a terrible, horrible idea was birthed. The Plague Sower Trickster cosplaying Technomancer, or the Tricknomancer. It does everything the Trickster can and more. Teleport across the map, stack close range, get stuck in the ground. It can even kill an Outriders on my highest APOC level, although it was incredibly stressful and I had like 3 dead mods from throwing together random shit I found. If you like Tricksters, but you also like Technomancers and headaches from zipping around the map every second, this is the build for you. Here's what I was running. I died once to the Outriders, but honestly, that's to be expected when I have fucking Telefrag of all things on my gun. Also, the obelisks in Oakreel's room were hell. It is extremely hard to stay in the obelisk. I was shooting enemies' knees and getting a random crit and teleporting off the obelisk. But hey, if you like memes, being disoriented, and Trickster, I encourage you to try this build out. It's pretty hilarious.
This is terrible and I hate it.
I also tried a variant when I put Body Snatcher and Telefrag on the same gun, and let me tell you, it was another mess and a half. That's all from me. See you all in the next one.